We're with Dr. Mohamed El-Arian. He is the Chief Economic Advisor to Allianz. And can I start really by looking at the next administration in the United States, here at the Asian Financial Forum. What do you see ahead? What do you see 2017 is really looking like?
So clearly we see the potential for faster growth within the US. And in fact, markets have embraced that possibilities because of three things. First, pro-growth announcements on part of the president-elect, tax reform, deregulation, infrastructure spending. Second, relatively limited rhetoric, especially compared to the campaign on protectionism. And finally, the realization that for the first time in 6 years, we may have a functional Congress. So the potential is clearly there for faster growth, but what needs to happen next is policy announcements need to transition to detailed design and to implementation. If that occurs, there is a potential for higher growth. If that does not occur, there's a potential for financial market disappointment.
And where it comes really to the financial markets, I mean, we have seen one rise in the interest rates in the United States by the Federal Reserve, but do you see further rises into 2017? And of what kind? I mean, of what sort of perspective?
I certainly do. And I think that if Mr. Trump delivers on his pro-growth agenda, we will get at least 3 interest rate hikes. As of now, I think 3 is a good baseline with the balance of risk to the higher than 3.
And really where it comes to matters to do with policy in the United States.
So I think there's 2 very distinct issues. One is the prospects of a stronger dollar and what that does to the rest of the world. The dollar was strengthened on the basis of 2 divergences. One in policy. If the Fed does indeed hike 3 times, and the ECB and the Bank of Japan stay where they are, that in itself would attract capital to the United States. Second, if growth picks up in the US relative to elsewhere, that also will attract. So I think that the first risk is of excessive dollar appreciation. And that is a risk for countries that have a mismatch in the currency between liabilities and the assets. A second very distinct risk is protectionism. And protectionism is a lose-lose equation. I think that risk is there. I don't think it's as high as people make it out. I think at the end of the day, and maybe I'm too optimistic, rational thinking prevails. But it certainly is a risk. But I do not think at the end of the day that these threats will translate into an actual trade war.
I'm wondering what you may feel about China's Belt and Road Initiative. Now, this is being sort of brought up now since 2013. And looking forward, do you see that as being some kind of a mitigation of this idea that there won't be this sort of multilateral trade going forward?
I think that it's a supplement to a global trading arrangement that hasn't fulfilled its promise. And it's not just that. The AIIB, the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, the bilateral trade agreements that China has entered with many, many countries around the world, all these are small steps in an attempt to supplement a multilateral trading system that is not performing up to its potential. And I see this as a consistent policy response by China, and other countries are buying into that policy response. So I see it as a supplement, not as a substitute.
Do you think Hong Kong has a major role in the Belt and Road Initiative?
Yeah, I think that when you look at what Hong Kong brings to the table, it absolutely has a major role to play, not just in that initiative, but in this transition that we're having in China and around China.
What's your impression of the Asian Financial Forum itself?
So this is my first forum, and I came with certain expectations, and the reality has exceeded my expectations. It is fascinating to see so many people come together and hold open discussions in the context of a structured program that provides a lot of insights from the inside and from the outside. So it's been for me a tremendous learning experience, and one that has far exceeded my expectations.